Hi there, welcome to Cooking with Kenny G. Now on today's episode or today's video, we're going to be using some of those strawberries that we got from JD's farm. We're going to be making this gorgeous baked New York style strawberry cheesecake. That is gorgeous. Now this is super easy to make. It's not going to take a whole lot of time. The most time that you're going to need for this is just the cooking time. So let's get to it. First things first, now with the cheesecake, because it is basically a custard, I want to cook it in the oven with the water bath in there so there's a fair bit of steam. We got a 250 Fahrenheit oven. Just going to put some hot water into a roasting pan here. Now this is going to go in the bottom rack of the oven, and then there's a middle rack where the cheesecake's going to go. So let's get that in there. Now that'll give it a chance to create a little bit of steam in there as I get everything else ready, and then when the cheesecake goes in, it's going to be into a steamy oven. Remember, as always, what's that French word we like to use? Mise en place. What do we need for our equipment? Going to need your spatula. Going to need some measuring spoons. You need a wire mesh strainer. You can never forget the blue scraper. We may need that for something. I have a 9-inch springform pan. Digital scale. Now you're going to need a couple of mixing bowls just to put the graham crumbs in and to measure out your butter and those sorts of things. Parchment paper. Now we get to have some fun. We get to do arts and crafts. I got scissors and a pen. I'll show you what that's for. So let's get to that. Actually, what I'm going to do is do the arts and crafts first on the pan. I'm going to crust in the oven before it gets too steamy in there. I just want to set it a little bit. This thing takes about 55 to 60 minutes in the oven. Prep time for everything else here, let's give her 10 or 15 minutes, so you should be able to have a beautiful strawberry cheesecake in under an hour and a half. Time for arts and crafts. Okay, going to take the springform pan bottom, dry around with the pen. Get those scissors. Remember, like they say in school, I don't want to see you kids running around with those in the kitchen here. Follow that line around. Riveting television here. You can put your springform pan bottom back in. Just make sure you put it in the right way. Now, just keep the pen side down. Obviously, you don't want that in your cheesecake. I'm going to spray the pan inside here with pan spray. Might as well spray the whole thing. You're going to need to anyway. And then just press that down into the bottom, make sure it's flat. There's arts and crafts done right there. Now, the reason we're doing that is once the cheesecake bakes and when it comes out and we take the springform off, this parchment paper here will keep it off those little divots that are there. You can just scrape it right off without having to dig it out. For the crust, you're gonna need a cup and a half of graham crumbs or 200 grams metric. And you need 60 grams of butter or 2 1/4 ounces. Now the butter we're going to melt and mix in with the breadcrumbs. I will show you that. Let's get the crust going. Every chef loves using a microwave. So let's get the microwave going here. I'm just going to melt the butter down. Do it in short blasts. If you do it in a long blast or like a minute or something like that, it's going to boil over and make a mess of your microwave. You're going to curse me for that. So maybe just like 15 seconds at a time, just until it's melted. Not quite. Give it another 15 seconds. Perfect. Let's have a look. 30 seconds. Yeah, fully melted, not a mess in my microwave. There we go. Graham crumbs are there. Melted butter. Give it a little stir to mix up all the milk solids and the fats. Whatever's in there. Want to mix it in. Make sure it's well mixed together. Get your pan here. Blue scraper. Yeah, comes in handy. Love these things. Mix that butter in. Make sure butter's mixed in well. Just going to put that in the bottom there. Mix it around a little bit, flatten it out. You get your hands in there if you want. And just press it down into the bottom. Now I'm going to throw that in the oven for, well, I'm not going to throw it in the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 minutes or so. What I want to do is just melt that butter a little bit more and incorporate it into the graham crumbs. Get that in the oven for 10 minutes. Now I've got the KitchenAid set up, the mixer. There's a paddle on there. I'm going to have to soften up this cream cheese, so I'm going to put it in there and mix it around for a few minutes. Scrape it down every so often, just make sure it's nice and soft. I want to incorporate it, and I don't want little chunks of cheese in there. Just doesn't look very professional, and I'm going to teach you how to do things that are professional. So let's get the cream cheese in there, get the mixer going, We'll let that mix up and soften up nicely. That's been mixing for a minute. Just make sure you scrape down to the bottom too. You can use a hand mixer when you do this. Still gonna need another few minutes. It's not soft enough that it's gonna incorporate with everything. Time to check again. It's been about a minute and a half. Nice and soft now. See that texture and that consistency? It'll mix well. So I'm gonna add the sugar into this now, and that'll help actually soften up and break down the cream cheese a little bit more before I add any more liquid in it. If you add all the liquids in too quick, that'll just not make it incorporate well. It's really good English on my part. All right, let's get the sugar in there. I'm gonna mix that for about 1 more minute, and then we can add the other liquid ingredients in there. That's been going for another minute. As you can see, the consistency of that is, well, hopefully you can see anyway, it's quite smooth. That'll be good then for mixing all the other ingredients in there. Then I'm gonna add in the sour cream, mix that, add in the eggs and mix that. It's best that you don't just dump everything in there at once. You want it to mix well. Oh. That's the base. I'm gonna get that out, let it cool down. I'm not gonna put that cold ingredients into the hot pan. So I just wanna show you what it looks like here. Okay, there it is there. Now, just have a look at it, make sure that it's not bubbling anywhere. Just take a flat bottom cup if you want, and then you can just press it out a little bit more, just so it's nice and flat. Beautiful crust there. That also, too, if it retracts away or pulls away from the sides, you can just press it back into the edges again, smooth it out so there's no bumps in it. It'll be nice and flat. And let that cool. Mix all the other stuff together. Pitter patter, let's get at her. So that cream cheese and sugar mixture is well incorporated. I've got it scraped down from the sides. Look what it keeps talking to me. Next thing I'm gonna do is put in sour cream and incorporate that. That's just enough to mix it. Just get well incorporated. That's on low speed too, not too high. Just wanna incorporate it. Perfect, that looks good. Now let's get those eggs in there. Now the eggs are gonna put in one at a time as it's mixing, just so it incorporates well. Again, if I put all 4 of them in there at once, it'll take a lot longer for it to incorporate. And we want it to be nice and smooth in there. See how the color of that's changing too? It's getting to a nice yellow color from the egg yolks. Before you add another one, let that all mix in so all the yolk is gone. And then the last egg. Mix that up well, then I'm gonna scrape down the sides, put in the lemon zest, the vanilla, and then a wee trick with the whipped cream. Take the spatula and get down to the bottom in case there's anything like that. A little bit of the solid stuff of the sour cream and the cream cheese mixture. I do have a little trick for making sure that all the lumps are out of it though, which you are going to see shortly. All right, let's get that mixing. Add in the lemon zest, gives it a nice bright flavor, nice little citrus hit in there, and the vanilla. That looks well incorporated now. I'm gonna take this off. I have 1 more ingredient to put in there, and I gotta show you a little trick with it and tell you the reason why. Just gonna scrape this off the paddle. Now the little pro tip is, I'm gonna heat up the whipped cream, but not super hot, just so it's a little bit above warm. That makes any sense at all. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna bring that and I'm gonna mix it into this mixture here, and that will help dissolve any of those cream cheese chunks that might be in there. But we're also gonna strain this thing too. Let's get that going. I'll get it in the microwave. Same thing, though, don't put it in for like a minute or it's gonna immediately boil over. Just little 15-second blasts until it's warm to touch. You don't want it too hot either, because don't forget there's eggs in there. So if you put it in with the eggs and it's super hot, it might actually cook them a little bit. 110 Fahrenheit, that is. That's not Celsius. 110 Celsius would be a mess. Now when you add it in slowly and mix at the same time. You don't want to just dump it all in there. Like I say, because of the eggs and the egg yolks in there, it will coagulate, and you don't want that. Or cook. You're gonna have scrambled eggs in your cheesecake. There, perfect. Wipe down the edges, make sure you get to the bottom, make sure it's well incorporated in there. Pro hack. I'm gonna strain it just to make sure there's no lumps in there. Now what you can do is take your spatula, rub it around the edges. That'll press those cream cheese balls through, and it's gonna be completely smooth. Now I got a little bit of that lemon zest in there. I don't want to lose that, so I can just scrape that out and put it in there, and then just scrape off the bottom. Mix that in. You got a gorgeous cheesecake mix here. Now you might be saying, hey, wait a second, this is a strawberry cheesecake, right? Here comes the strawberry portion of it. Strawberry puree that we made. Get my spoon. That's where the recipe is going to be. You'll have to watch if you didn't watch it already. What I want to do is I want to save a little bit of the white cream cheese mix, and I'll show you why, but not a whole lot. Maybe about a little less than a quarter of that. Now, measurement wise, I don't know, I'm just gonna eyeball this. So, pretty good when you're baking, just eyeballing something. I'll get a measuring spoon. I wanna put in enough for color and for flavor, but not so much that I thin this out. The puree is quite thick, so it really won't affect it in that way. Come closer and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, I've got 4 tablespoons in there now. Just gonna stir that up. Beautiful color. Those are those gorgeous strawberries that we got the other day from JD's farm. Now, well incorporated. I'm gonna put in 1 more tablespoon. Why not? Let's make it 5 tablespoons. 5 tablespoons it is. Okay, let's get the strawberry mixture in there first. Looking good. Now, strawberry mixture's in there. Now we're gonna put the white mixture in. Make it a little fancy design if you want, or just pour it in there. Oh, that'll look good. And finish it off. Let's take a little bit of this mixture. Just thread a bit more of that through there. All right, that is gonna look absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to look at that when it's finished. Okay, gonna get that in the oven. 250 oven, 55 minutes. Forgot to tell you a safety tip. When you open the door, because there's steam in there, don't put your head right in. Keep my head away. Put the cheesecake in and then close it up. Oh gosh, I can't wait. There we go. 55 minutes. It's been 55 minutes now. I'm gonna have a look at that cheesecake. I'm gonna leave it for about 2 or 3 more minutes. It's almost ready now. I gave it an extra 10 minutes after that, so it is ready. I've taken the water pan out, leave the cheesecake in the oven with the heat in there, and then as it cools down, it won't crack. It shouldn't anyway. Now I'm just gonna show you here what the cheesecake should look like. Just bouncy on the edges, but still quite firm. You can see it's just a little bit jiggly, so that will set up as it cools. Don't take it directly out of the oven and then put it on the counter to cool. Just let it cool there. Well, the cheesecake has been cooling down for about an hour or so. Just unmolding it. A couple of cracks in there, but we can fix those. Don't worry, I'll show you how. Now I'm just gonna put this in the, oh, beautiful, fridge overnight. And what that'll do is cool it right down, and then we'll be able to slice it and do a little presentation. And I hope you make your own strawberry cheesecake. Finish that up tomorrow. Good morning. It is the next day now. The cheesecake has been in the fridge overnight. It's set up nicely. Just gonna take it off the bottom of the springform pan, the metal part. It did crack a little bit. I'm human, what can I say? I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna show you how to cover up those cracks that happen. I'm gonna show you a little bit of a plate presentation, and your cheesecake is finished. I hope you're inspired to make one yourself. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer. First thing I'm gonna do is take this off. So I got a little thin palette knife. Just take the palette knife, slide it under that paper that's there. Make sure you go all the way around, slide it off. Get that paper out of there too. Paper's off. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer so you can see my cover-up job that I'm gonna do. Quick and easy cover-up jobs. I've got a little bit of sour cream here. This is half of a cup of sour cream. And then I've got a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar and half of a teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm just gonna mix that together. Also gonna add in a little bit of our beautiful strawberry puree that was made. Now the reason I'm using powdered sugar in here is it incorporates a lot easier and you don't have those grains in there from the granulated sugar. Tastes good. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of the puree in there, just for flavor and for color. Just gonna put that over the top, cut and do a presentation, and we're done. There it is, there are the cracks. So I'm gonna cover those up, put a little makeup on there. Just wanna cover the cracks, just for the appearance more than anything else. Just take that palette knife and just spread it out on top of the cheesecake, just very thin. There it is, finished. You can still see that beautiful design under there. If you got a little bit of that extra sour cream mixture left over, you can make a smoothie or something with it. Don't waste it. Now, pro tip for cutting the cheesecake, make sure you get a knife that is thin and it's long enough to get across the cheesecake. some nice hot water. And then all you do is just do some geometry, however many pieces you want in there. So I'm just gonna cut it in half and then in half again. And then from there, I'll just keep going in between the halves or equal sized pieces. Right down to the bottom, make sure you go through that crust. Just pull the knife through this way rather than lifting it up. And it leaves a nice outside part of the cake without a bunch of crumbs and crusting all over. I'll show you a little bit closer here. All right, nice hot, clean knife. Let's go across this way 1/4. Now, if you want to cut your cheesecake into 4, you've got 4 pieces there. Probably cut that one into 12 pieces. Got the cheesecake on the plate. I like to use a nice large plate. That's just more of a restaurant thing than anything else. It just gives you more of a canvas to work with. Got some of the strawberries there, fresh strawberries, and a little bit more of that strawberry puree that we made. Now, if you want, you can just spoon it on the plate. Maybe a little bit on top there. Some whipped cream that I whipped up, just a little dollop of whipped cream on there, and then a little fresh mint on there too. Then if you want, you can just put a couple of little swirls on there. That looks professional. This is something you can do at home. Now, should have mentioned too, this cheesecake that you make, it is freeze stable. Either cut it, throw it in the freezer, take out a slice at a time. Perfectly fine in the freezer, just make sure it's wrapped well. Thanks so much for watching. Now, if you enjoyed it, thumbs up, don't forget about that. Comments in the comment box down below. I hope you enjoyed our trip to Flavor Country, where we actually went out to Flavor Farm and got some of those wonderful strawberries. Made a beautiful cheesecake, super easy to make. You can restaurant this up just like a pro. Now it's time for me to try this. Thanks so much for watching.